Hi, this is Bronwyn Ailey, local food systems and small farms educator for the University of Illinois, and I'm coming to you from the greenhouse at the Dixon Springs Ag Center to give you the next weekly update on local food happenings from Dixon Springs. I want to start out this week's update discussing our lettuce table demonstration area. And with this system, it is a hydroponic system in which we are recirculating water. That is, we have added fertilizer in with this water. You can see we have a sump pump in the bottom of this tank, and we're drawing water up through the pipes, through the filter, and it's being distributed down each of these rows through these tubes. And you can see we have started various greens in rock wool or Groden plugs. These were directly seeded into these plugs. And if I pull this out, you can see they're started to root. And water is running along the bottom of this trough. So water is being dispersed from this tube, runs down the length of each of these gutters, and drains into the tube in the back, which then drains back into our tank. So this is a recirculating system, and we have 2 or 3 different types of lettuces, a couple of pak choys, so just some different greens that we've started. These all got planted just today. And so this will be another demonstration plot that will be part of our weekly update. The work this week on the determinate tomato variety trial included another round of fertilizing through the drip irrigation system, as well as pruning and tying each of the plots. And as far as our pruning, we prune to what we call below first cluster, and so we will find one of these plants and I'll explain that. This one right here. As you can see, the yellow flowers here, this is our topmost, it's the first flower cluster on this plant, and so the next sucker under it right here we left, and then all other suckers down the stem of the plant had been removed. And as you can see down here, even though they've been removed, we had a couple of new ones want to try to come back, so we'll just go ahead and pull those out as well. You can see they were coming around from the base of the plant, and so it has really opened up the canopy within each of these plants. And also you can see we have, in tying the plants using a trellis weave or a Florida weave system, we include T-posts about every 12 plants, and then wooden stakes are driven between 2 plants, or after every second plant, and then the first string was put on. And so these rows they're continuing to grow really well. Canopy spread is great, but as we've been able to remove those suckers, it's really opened up. As you can see them right now, there's a little bit of a breeze blowing, and airflow is moving nicely through these plants, which is what we like to see. And we'll just pan over real quickly to the peppers. They're continuing to grow, darkening up, and I think we're starting to see the first little tiny flower clusters on a couple of these varieties. And finally we'll pan over here to our mystery row. Earlier in the week I dug a couple of these plants up to look at their root system, and they were starting to develop new roots, so I'm going to exercise some patience on these I do see some of these plants have started to increase their growth on the top from where they were this time last week, and so I think that new root development is just slower to come on, but once they get a substantial root system developed, I think they will come on, and I don't know that they'll ever catch up completely. They're probably always going to be behind these other rows, but we'll see if they don't turn into decent plants through the course of the season. Venting our high tunnels is an extremely important process that needs to be done almost on a daily basis, especially as these sunny days and warmer days are happening more frequently, and we're moving from springtime into warmer summer days. Being able to vent the tunnels really helps to keep the temperatures moderated, and can also help keep humidity levels down lower within the tunnel. And with this tunnel that we have here, it's a 30 by 96, and I wanted to show you a little trick that we have, and many of you may already utilize this trick, but we wanted to show you with this system of raising and lowering our side curtains. With the tunnel, it came with a handle very similar to this one that you could attach at this point and crank the handle, and you could turn it and raise and lower the curtain that way. That can be pretty heavy, especially when you're looking at 96-foot run. And so we've modified the end of the handle. We basically cut the hook off of the end of it and fit it into our cordless drill, and we can use our cordless drill and raise the curtain. When we want to lower it, we just switch the other way. And now we lower the curtain. And this is just a little trick that I wanted to share with you. Makes raising and lowering the curtains a lot easier on our backs, on our arms and legs. It's also pretty efficient, pretty quick. So just wanted to share that little tip with you this week. And now for an update on our hydroponic cucumber production. You can see the plants have really taken off and started growing. And I had mentioned last week that we would be trellising them in the same way that we did the tomatoes. And you can see we have the spools hung from the rebar at the top. They're coming down and they're clipped on to the cucumber plant just like we would the tomato. We look down the line and you can see the ladder set up there, not quite finished with these two rows, getting the spools out and getting them tied to the plants, but this is a work in progress. If we pan over to the peppers, we did not have these tied last week, and now they are tied up as well. And we'll look over here to the indeterminate cherry tomatoes, and you can see they are definitely grown. We'll come in and suckered these, and this plant right here, they're really close to needing their second clip, and so I'll try to demonstrate putting the clip on. You can see this plant, the clip is down here at the base, but it's starting to lean out, and so we want to clip it back up closer to the string. And so let me switch hands again. I'm still social distancing and still videoing by myself. I had a little technical difficulty last week with my phone, so I have switched to an iPad. So I'm holding a bigger device in my hand as I'm videoing this, but I'm going to show you this. We're going to put the clip, and notice I'm catching the string in that hinge. starting to close it. And then bring the plant in, snap it closed, and there we go. We've placed the second clip on this, and now the plant is growing straight up the string as opposed to leaning out. And so, as you can see, as these plants continue to grow, some of them are going to need a clip pretty quickly. Some of them probably still have another 2 or 3 days before they need to be clipped. And as we move down the line here, I'll show you the difference between these indeterminate tomatoes that have been suckered compared to these indeterminates that have not been suckered. So if we look down on this variety, we can see all of the suckers coming up through the plant, and those need to be removed. We have not gotten to that process yet, as compared to right over here, the suckers have been removed. And you can definitely see a difference in the amount of airflow that would be able to move through the canopy of those that still need to be pruned versus those that have already been pruned. And so this pruning process definitely helps keep the humidity lower within the plant and helps reduce disease pressure. And I think with that, I will sign off for the week. Today is a really sunny, warm day. I'm expecting that again tomorrow with even higher temperatures, maybe close to 85. That's what they're calling for in our area tomorrow, and sunny. So really super glad to see that. And I want to wish everybody a safe week and a good weekend. And we will be back with you next week for the next weekly update.